What is up, YouTube? It is the Mister. How y'all doing? Hopefully you're doing well. So this last video that I did ended up being a lot longer than I wanted to. So I went ahead and split it up into two videos. So don't be alarmed if at the end you see it just kind of stops abruptly. The rest of it will be available next week. So please be looking out for that. The episode did go a little bit long, so rather than running it that much longer, I figured I'd just split it up. So other than that, let's get back to the video.
What is up, YouTube? It is the Mister. How y'all doing? Hopefully you are doing well. As you can see, we are back with another edition of Putting in Time. We are back on the Felsburn map. And I have a little bit of something I want to discuss with you real quick to kind of let you know. As you can see, we are this is episode 2, but let me get over here real quick. There was a little bit of a mishap. If you remember correctly, we did by field 18 over here. It was planted in corn, and as you can see when I go over here, the corn is already harvested. There was a little bit of an issue with the video I did last time. Went through the whole video, and there was a little bit of an audio issue. The issue being I never turned my mic or the game sound on, so there was nothing. I could have done a voiceover, but I don't really think it would have had the effect I wanted. The webcam would have been all out of sync and no game sound, so I just figured we'll just scrap that one and start with the new one. The only thing we did is we just kind of did that harvest of that and sold all of it. And that's all there really was. So we're gonna go ahead and start from there. And as you can see, we did was corn that we had to do, and we needed to get a plow to go ahead and plow that field. This is kind of a personal preference. Depending on how you want to play it, but there's one of two ways of doing that. You can either go in here and do the plows. The plows are kind of a little funky with the way they react, and they seem to be a lot more expensive. I mean, this one for a 4.9 meter is $59,000. Or the other way you can go about it is there are the subsoilers here, and as you can see, there's 49 that goes 6, so that right there is already better than what the plows do. Now, the big difference between the plows and the subsoilers is the plows are the only thing that you can create fields with. You cannot create fields with the subsoilers at all. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is we need to have something to at least plow that field. And right now I don't own a plow at all. I was going to go ahead and do this, the subsoiler. It does fertilize it, and with the planter, or excuse me, the seeder that we have, it'll work perfectly because it does not have fertilizer. So if we go ahead and do this beforehand, then plant, then we can do our weeding and fertilize afterwards. It'll just work out perfectly. So I'm not going to go ahead and buy this. I'm just going to lease it, and there is one other thing I am going to mention about it. As you can see here, what we have, or what we need power wise, is actually higher than what we currently have. I did test it earlier just to see if it would even work. It will run it, but the thing is, it's going to run at a little bit lower speed than what it is meant to, but I do know it works. So just keep that in mind when you guys go to do this stuff. And I think it's something minor, just because all we are doing currently is we're just leasing it. Maybe at some point later we will purchase said item. And then since it does fertilize, let's go ahead and grab a couple fertilizer bags. It does hold 3,000, so we'll just go ahead and fill it up. It's the same as what our current spreader does use, so if we don't use all of it, we'll just go ahead and spread it or unload it and then use it in our current spreader. So that is my little bit of a mess up. Do hope you guys will forgive me for that. But other than that, am wondering, how was everyone's Christmas, and by Christmas, I do mean holidays. I myself am Christian and everything else, so I do say Christmas because that's what I celebrate. But I in no way mean any offense to anyone that does otherwise. It's just kind of it's what I do, and I have issues with people that are real picky about, oh well, I don't celebrate Christmas, I celebrate Hanukkah or what. That's great. The way I've always looked at it is, if I celebrate Christmas, I would rather say Merry Christmas to you, and then I don't really get into the whole politically correct thing. I think it's kind of a, nope, that's why. It's because I'm trying to, let's just swing around here. We'll just make it easy. I'm trying to fill the tanks, and I'm back by the cultivator plow section. Okay, so let's get this filled up. I don't mean any offense to anyone when I do say Merry Christmas. It's just what I celebrate, and I always have felt that whatever holiday you celebrate, that's what you should be saying to everyone for, whether it be Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah. It's just, I have an issue with the whole politically correctness. I kind of have the thing that politically correct is not. I know there is people that it does offend, but that's not people's intentions when they say Merry Christmas. They're giving you season's greetings. So that is why I wish all of you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And I do hope that you do not take offense by me saying that. But I am curious as to what everyone has done, or what you did do, seeing how most of you are going to be getting this after the fact. I mean, is there any special things that you guys do for Christmas or for New Year's? I know we actually are not doing anything, or didn't do anything this year, because with where I work, my schedule is kind of weird. I do work a 12-hour on Sunday, Monday, and Tuesdays, and then a 6-hour. So my time is kind of limited during that time. And with where Christmas fell this year, it was a little bit of a hectic holiday. Typically, with family, or when we were growing up, we always tried to get home, see family. But I currently work in an area where we normally work with one other person, and so if one of us wanted to take off, it would not be a huge deal. But the guy that I work with now, he actually is out for medical reasons. He's been out for about 4 months, and they're talking about him being out until March, which is still another 3 months, and that's like best case scenario. So as of right now, it kind of limits when I can take off. So we felt it was just better to, just, obviously we had to stay. So we just kind of, stayed around the house. We kind of had a split Christmas, to tell you the truth. Like I said, I do have to work every Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, and with where Christmas fell, it was during one of those days. And I worked at 12, so it's kind of hard to tell your kids, oh, hey, you got to wait until 7 o'clock at night, even though everyone's up, bright and early, ready to open their presents. So what we did is they did get to open most of their... What are we getting hung up on here? They did get to open most of their stuff. We must be digging in because of... Yeah. Let me just pop up this menu just to make sure we've got everything. Yeah, I was just digging into that dirt for some reason. Okay, we are going again. So in areas it does kind of get hung up a little bit, it appears. And again, part of that might just be because of having the underpowered tractor. But we kind of stayed at home. They opened up what they got from Santa and grandparents. And anything that anyone sent down, they did get to open prior to me getting home. And then once I got home, we opened the gifts from them, and they opened the ones from us. And as you can imagine, I come home and the house was just tore apart with all the different paper and everything all over the place. But the kids appeared to have fun. They did get a fair amount of the stuff they wanted, so that is good as well. But with the schedule at work, it being a little bit of a slower week, did give me kind of a chance to reflect on things, and I just was kind of wondering, was there anything that you guys really did, I guess would be considered like tradition for your guys' family? I know when I was growing up, we kind of had we had several Christmases that we did go to. It was all like our grandparents. But typically a couple weeks before Christmas, we had the Christmas on my mom's side, where all the family went over to her house. It was a pretty big deal. We had a large family. One of my uncles actually had 8 kids, so he made up a lot of the family that was there. But it was fun. It was a chance to hang out with their cousins. We didn't really get to see a whole lot of each other than the holidays, and when we got a little bit older, we did kind of spend time during the summers with each other. So it was a good chance to kind of hang out. And one year, this is what kind of became the tradition of going there. Is one year my parents had actually gone to, I think it was just like a Christmas party for the company. They got to, they had their company Christmas party, and when they came home, they had played a like Christmas game up there. Many of you have maybe kind of familiar with what it is, but it's called the white rabbit or white mount, whatever animal term you use. White elephant, I think, is another way people call it. But all it is this rules to it are pretty simple. Everyone brings a gift. Normally, you would set like a dollar amount, just so that there aren't people that are buying real cheap ones, or people that aren't buying real big gifts. And that's more just to avoid people from getting a little sour about, well, I brought something that costed this much, and everyone else, brought something that wasn't as much. So it's good to kind of set those rules before you even start playing it. Oh, what's going on? Oh, I lifted it. Okay. After that, let's make sure this is going. Okay, we do have it on. I may just start lifting it, see if that helps. Maybe we don't have to turn it off each time. But everyone brings the gift. It is already wrapped so that no one knows what it is. And then however many people are playing, let's just say there's 15 people playing. You would put 1 through 15 on little scraps of paper, fold them up, put them in a hat or a bag, whatever device you want to use to kind of make the drawing kind of secretive. Then what you do is every person that's participating in the game would pull a number. And before I go any further, it is recommended that the people playing are probably over the age of 12 or so, just to avoid like hurt feelings and stuff. And you'll kind of understand why when I get further into the game. But everyone draws a number. Whoever gets the number 1, they are actually the person that starts the game. They would pick up whatever gift. All the gifts are kind of staged in one area, and whoever gets the number 1, they actually are the first to go grab a gift. They can grab any gift on there. It doesn't matter. They open the gift, and then they kind of show everyone else, this is what it was. This is what I got. Then whoever has number 2, they're the next to go. And they have the choice. They can either steal the gift that the first person opened, or they can instead go and open a different gift. If they decide to steal the gift of the first person, then that first person then has to go and grab another gift. And the game kind of goes on like this for a while, going through the different numbers. But when you start getting into like 3 or 4, the rules are pretty much the same. It just changes just slightly. Once you get to the third person, they have the option of stealing either one of the first 2 gifts or opening up a completely new one. If they decide to steal one of the other gifts, whoever they stole the gift from then either opens another gift or they steal one of the other gifts. The only rule is you cannot steal the gift back from the person that stole it from you. So in the occasion, if you have 3 people, if person 3 stole the gift from 1 could steal the gift from 2, and then 2 could steal that gift from 3. As long as it's not the same person stealing it back directly from the first person, the steal is legit. Now, after it is exchanged hands more than 3, or once it is exchanged hands 3 times, like once it's been stolen 3 times, that gift is locked in that space for the round, or for the rest of the round. And that is just to prevent an infinite number of stealing. There's got to be a stopping point. Oh, come on. There we go. So that is the basic rules of the game. What I recommend is, if you have not played it the very first year, that the rules should be pretty much cut and dry. The gifts, the gifts is kind of a tricky thing. And the reason I say that is, when we were first introduced to the game, there are gifts that sometimes get put in there that are kind of like gag gifts. Like they're kind of funny, but they're not really of use in the game. It's kind of that chance thing where if someone gets that gift, then they're stuck with it. They probably won't do anything with it, but it does kind of make the game fun, as long as there's not too many of them. The first year my parents did it, I was not actually allowed to play because I was a little bit young, but I was there watching it just to kind of understand it, and it was a family thing, so it was nice to see. Oh, come on, baby. There we go. But the first year there was way too many gag gifts in there, and to the point where one of my aunts, she was the younger aunt, but she ended up showing late after we had already started the game. Didn't know anything about it, so my grandma had actually gone in there and she took I guess it would have been a thermostat, the old thermostats with a dial that was actually on the wall to adjust the heat. She had a spare one laying around the house somewhere, and she put that in a box, wrapped it up, and put it in with the other gifts, and that was in place of the gift that Aunt should have brought. And I kind of, could see how it'd be kind of funny, but, it doesn't really work. What I have, out of my many years of playing it, I have found the best thing is to just leave the gag gift part out completely, and kind of go for what you think is going to be. Oh, come on! What would be the, a gift that you would like to go home with? That is the method that I use every year. Is find something that you would not have a problem going home with, and that's the gift you bring, because if the game is going a little bit slow and there's not really anyone stealing the gift from someone else, that is the one that you would open on your turn, as long as you're not like the first or second person, because sometimes it takes a little bit, getting about halfway through the numbers for it to become a little bit more people understanding how the game is supposed to go. The part of the fun of the game is actually getting that gift taken and having to figure out, well, do I want to open another one or do I go for that first one? So that was like our big tradition, doing that game at our family get-togethers. And like I said, the first year was a little rough. It was a little rough because no one knew how it went, and like I said, there was just way too many gag gifts that were put in there. But as the years went on, it definitely got better. Probably 2 or 3 years after that initial time, I was old enough to participate in that game. And so what we started doing is we did bring... we basically would bring 2 gifts. My parents would bring one, and I would I guess they would each bring one, and then I would bring one. So we were basically bringing 3 different gifts to the game, and it seemed to work out because there was a little bit of a teamwork thing going on, where if I could tell that there was something that they really wanted, and it came down to the point where it was like there was only one steal left, well, I could steal that gift and hold it, and then at least it would be our part of the family going home with that gift. You got those looks every once in a while. I think one year there happened to be something that was like alcohol related. And I stole it from someone, and I kind of got them looks like, what are you gonna do with that? It's like, well, I figure I know you guys want it, so I will steal it so no one else can steal it, and then we have a higher chance of going home with it. But really, that did not happen all too often. I tried to play that game in the sense of getting... I tried to every year be the person that had the gift that was being stole the most. Oh, don't you... Oh. I kind of took pride in, going after that gift. Or even if it was, like, once it was initially opened... trying to guess whether or not that would have been one of the big gifts that was, stolen from people each year. And I think there was, out of the handful of times that I did play it, there was only, I think, 2 years. Oh, come on, baby. Come on. There was 2 years, I think, that I actually had, like, the top gift that was being stolen. The first year, I was kind of surprised by it. We had a local gas station in our town that always had these, little knickknacks and stuff that were up. And this that particular year, they had, I guess it would kind of been like a snow village type of, like the people set up those snowy village displays, like on a table every Christmas or whatever. This was something that kind of fit along that motif, but it was actually a clock. But you could put that in that display, and you wouldn't have, thought it was out of place. As long as it was to the same scale as your other village items. And I bought that, and I thought, that'd be pretty cool. And that year, that was the gift that was just stolen constantly. The other thing that we seem to find was a big thing is like those different like gift sets of like the cocoa or the like the summer sausage. Those were also real big items that were stolen pretty consistently. But if you kind of play with the same group, you kind of tend to find what type of things fit in and are stolen quite often. So it makes the game a lot of fun. So that was typically within 2 or 3 weeks before Christmas.